for Ben. He runs Raw Motivations. He's also, he does one-on-ones just like myself, and he gives you the perspective on narcissists because he is a self-aware narcissist, meaning that he is diagnosed. He gives you the perspective of himself. Hi from Holland. Hello. I'm in Canada, so just so everybody knows, you're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and love his videos. Yeah, he has amazing videos. I've duetted a couple of his. Also, my healthy dating after abuse course is on his app, which is the Narc app. Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community app. If you want to download that, you can download it right now. While we have some time just kind of popping in, you can download it right now under the link in my bio. Under resources, you can download the Narc app. Hi from UK, hello. And what time is it where you are at, everybody? It is 6:14 here. Oh, there he is. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey, we got matching hats. What's up?
I know, right? What's up?
You guys all think that's cool, huh? Yeah, so
What
I
do you
have
call
it,
it?
but he got knocked out. Something happened.
That was weird.
I don't know what happened.
You even got the breeze going on and
I
everything.
know, it's so hot here. It's like 31 degrees. I was just saying to everyone in here, it's 31 degrees Celsius. So I don't know. The fan is giving me a little dramatic effect. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Yeah. So this is Ben Taylor, Raw Motivations. Again, if you don't already have the app downloaded, the Narc app. He is the creator of the Narc app. My course, Healthy Dating After Abuse, is on that app.
Yeah.
I believe 8 modules.
I think so. Something like that.
8
I don't know. It's
modules.
pretty awesome. It's pretty dope.
If you guys want to know how to step out into the world again after a narcissistic relationship, after an abusive dynamic, or if you just want to build your confidence back and learn how to trust yourself and learn the red flags, because you all know what the red flags are, you just were a little bit hypnotized by a narcissist and maybe had to find
Absolutely.
the app. Go to the link in my bio. You can actually pop over to Raw Motivations and go check out his links, but the link in my bio, the link tree in my bio, go all the way down to resources. It's the very top link. It just says download the Narc app, and you can download it from there.
Yep.
And if you
And
do,
you
you can
can
come
you
back
can
and
look
say,
at it in Apple or Google too. Just type in NARC. NARC stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. So it's a community of like-minded people that we're trying to gather more people together to help like understand and learn about the courses, to learn about narcissism, to be able to track their no contact, to be able to record their truth, to be able to join our weekly lives. So we'll actually be doing a live inside the app right after this, and then also our monthly coaching, which is actually coming up next month. Or not next month, next week.
monthly coaching. How's that going?
It's going well. I think the last time, I think we've averaged probably about like 10 to 12 different people. So we're kind of like trying to get into our groove with everything. Last month we had Bree come in and she talked about like some of the healing practices like after abuse and things like that. So that was really like eye-opening for a lot of people. I'm coming this month, so next week with some stuff I think with intention and mindset has been kind of a couple of things that I've been going over with a lot of people. And then I think September is Lisa. So I locked her. You set it up like webinar style or was it like regular
Yeah,
Zoom style?
no, it was Zoom. It was Zoom. So there was a lot of tiles, but
Okay, yeah. So just like regular Zoom, not like a
regular,
webinar Zoom.
yeah, no, just a
Okay.
regular Zoom where everyone could put their hand up and ask, and then kind of went around. We talked about self-love and self-care.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually working on like whenever we start growing bigger and bigger for like our monthly coaching, I'm planning on actually using like the breakout rooms so that like people can like get to know each other more like in the community. Part of me
Yeah.
almost like wants to start doing that on like a weekly basis, but like I don't know if that would be better than like the lives.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to Carrie about doing something on a weekly basis and paying a monthly subscription.
Hmm.
And then people can pop in whenever they have time.
Right. No, that makes sense. I mean, I've got the weekly lives inside of the NARC app, but then also the monthly coaching. So
So
I
if
don't know.
there was part of like a membership, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
they
because
they
they're
get
like premium
this,
supporters are on that.
yeah, could be something, even just to like buy as its own separate thing without being a premium supporter or having a membership. You could just purchase coaching monthly, yeah, and have access to it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Something to think about.
Yeah, actually have that like published by the end of the month on Amazon. So we'll see.
I love that. That's amazing.
And then I'm 26 pages into my book, so
ooh,
I
nice.
haven't really like announced that to anybody yet, but it's coming.
I started working on my book and then I dropped it. I just started kind of getting imposter syndrome and being like, I'm not a writer. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then I just kind of like, when you like stop, like you get on this like kick and you start working on something and then some sort of symptom happens, like you get this trigger or you get this like insecurity or you get some sort of like negative self-talk, and then it just like puts a pause to it and then it just dies down. So I haven't gotten back on the like ramping up to get motivated again to do that, but it's definitely something I'm working on. I have a pretty wild story that I want
it's just set up the time, I know. If you wait to get motivated, then it won't happen.
I know, we're never ready for anything.
Exactly. So it's just it goes back to that intention, set the 15 minutes in your schedule or an hour in your schedule, be like, hey, during this time, I'm going to sit down and write. The 26 pages I did in like, I don't know, it's probably like 3 days in like 1 week. But then like I had to like pause it because I realized like I was going to be able to produce the journal faster than I was the book, because the journal is
ideas. Carrie and I thought of a really good idea for merch.
Yeah.
A really good one, but we have to kind of implant it and start doing content with it first and then be able to sell it.
Like get some glasses.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Did she tell you?
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
She told you already. Well, I didn't want to like say it on the live, but well, whatever. Well, it doesn't matter. Like Narc decoder glasses, like 3D ones.
Right.
So yeah. Glad you found it. Got the app. Thank you so much, guys. Awesome. Yes, perfect.
That's
Anyone
awesome.
else want to download the app? Whoever's in here. This is Ben Taylor. I don't know which side he is, depending on what you're seeing.
Yeah.
This is where it shows up for me. And Raw Motivations. He's a self-aware narcissist. We're gonna talk all tonight. You can ask all your questions. But I wanted to say first that his app is amazing. It's a great way to how I always say, anyone who's in here, how I always say there's 3 pillars of healing from narcissistic abuse. One being education and knowledge, right? Learning about what it is that you went through. One being self-love and self-care, so putting yourself first, which is going no contact is the first act of self-love. And the third one being community. Find your people, find out who also has shared in this type of abuse with you so that you can not feel alone and that you don't feel crazy and that you have that validation and also a type of closure that you'll never get from the narcissist. The app actually has all 3 of these elements in one. So if you download it, you have access to my Healthy Dating After Abuse course, and also our friend Bree, who wrote Boundaries. Plus, Ben has a bunch of other courses on there and other trackers and other ways to connect with the community. It's Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, the NARC app, and you can download it right now by going over to his page or going over to my link tree under resources and downloading it. So I just wanted to say that. Hey, girl, would love to join the live later. Tell you what happened. Yeah, maybe if I go on later. I'm just at my parents' house, so
Vicky over here that just said that she was working on the app earlier today, so that's awesome.
Nice, awesome.
So yeah, I think we're around like 4,600 downloads.
Ooh.
Yeah. So.
Do you have goals? Cool. Like, do you have a goal of how many you want to get downloaded by a certain time? And like, when did you launch the app again?
February.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it's going well. Part of my goals I have like around like the different platforms, and then I do have some specific ones like around like the app, and then also like some content and stuff that I want to get on it. I know like some of the stuff I want to get on it next is like some actual like, self-help like tests and stuff like that of like, are you with a narcissist, or like what type of narcissist are you with, where they could like do questions, not that it's going to like diagnose someone, but at least to give them like an idea of like, hey, this might be, what I'm dealing with.
Right. Because I do get a lot of questions, especially lately on Instagram DMs of, I don't know if I'm with a narcissist. This is what they do. I don't know if I'm the narcissist. This is kind of my story. This is
Right.
something that happened. Do you think this is emotional abuse? Do you think that? And there's a lot of questions that a lot of people are super confused about. And like I said, I don't know the answers, but maybe doing a self-assessment test can give you some more clarity. So that's really smart.
That's the goal. So I'm hoping to do that. I've started branching out a little bit more into the niche of like covert narcissism and like starting to talk about that specifically a little bit more, especially on YouTube. And I've been getting some good responses just because people, are either they don't have a lot of data about it because you don't really see a lot of content specifically on like covert narcissism. So I want to actually do like a video where I do like a side by side like comparison of like this of how like I think it'd be cool if I did like DSM-5, 9 traits, and then overt and covert. That would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like okay, yeah, like a chart kind of. That
Yeah.
would actually be yeah. Hi Queen, hi, what's going on? So
Yes, I'm
anyways,
I'm
anyone
hoping
have
to do
any
that.
questions? Anyone want to ask any questions to Ben?
Oh, here's Brittany. The venue planning's going pretty well. We're about locked down on the actual like venue. I'm actually waiting for some funds to come in for us to be able to plan that around. We booked where we're staying. We're all staying and or got a couple other things going on. So if you guys are in the Texas area or if you want to drive or fly, we're actually having a whole event coming up in Austin, Texas, where you're going to be able to meet 10 of the Narc Avengers, 10 out of the 16. I'm sorry, Ro. I know.
Not
Someone else on
me.
my side.
It's not me. I'm
You're
not
gonna be
one of
able to meet 10 of us. We're gonna be doing three main things actually at the event. Like it's gonna actually be from 10 to 6. What we're looking at is having actually one-on-one time where you can actually schedule one-on-one time with one of the Narc Avengers to be able to talk to them from like 15 minutes to like 45 minutes. And then we're also gonna have like an exclusive question and answer time where like you'd be in the same room and it wouldn't be like a giant group of people, but like a select group of people for you'd be able to ask questions and answers for all of us. And then we're doing like the entire meet and greet. So the meet and greet's going to be, I think, from like 3 to 6. The other two things are going to have like different like bumps because we're trying to be able to find something to be able to help pay for the venue because we're all flying in from all over the country and trying to put together. So yeah, super excited about that coming up on October 15th in Austin, Texas.
Yes. Who's all going to that? Lead mod of the meet and greet here. What's up, Lee? How's it going? How's
That's
it
funny.
going? I was thinking what a kind of a cool idea might be is if you had
Mhm.
like a giant TV, like a big screen or of some sort, and like in those conferences where they would satellite someone in for like
Yeah.
a minute or two, and be able to like join live people who can't make it. So there's 16 of us in the Narc Avengers, 6 of us aren't going to be there, and maybe one of us could pop in and say hello or a special message from or something that you could play up on a TV. That might be
Yeah.
something like an idea to do.
That would be super cool. Either we could like Zoom all 6 of you in for like a part of the meet and greet and like
Yeah,
introduce each person, or we could do like pre-recorded stuff and be like, hey, this is messages from these because I'll have we've got like audio system that I'm looking at and also like a projector and everything.
yeah. What would you guys think of that? Do you think that would be a kind of a cool idea? Hands up if that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea personally because I can't be there. And I'm seeing all the messages come through in this beautiful place that you guys are all staying at, and I'm like, ugh, I can't even go.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm definitely pumped.
I know you are. I know all of you that are. Yes, do it. Brittany says yes. Have the 6 of you on the screen to vote one of you off the island. Lee, no, I'm not getting voted off. I don't want to be at risk of getting voted off.
That's
Thank you all.
hilarious.
Yeah, fight
Yeah,
till
no,
the
that'd
end.
be
What do we have
awesome.
to do to fight? That's the thing. I'm really competitive. Just so you know, if you look at the message, anyone just popping in here, if you look at the live intro, it says, Why Can't I Just Leave? Which is a live
Mhm.
webinar with Dr. Kristen Melstead. She wrote the book, Why Can't I Just Leave? Talking all about the confusion that we have in narcissistic relationships
Mhm.
and what we go through with the trauma bond and being bonded to somebody that we really don't feel happy with, comfortable with.
Mhm.
This person sometimes lies to us, cheats on us, steals from us, and makes us feel crazy, and we still somehow stick with them. And sometimes, always,
Yeah.
most of the time, it's longer than we want to. So if you want to be in this webinar, there's tickets on the link in my bio. I don't know if if Ben has a link as well. So either one,
Yeah.
whoever's in here can go and get tickets for that on August 18th. If you cannot make it, you actually get a replay of it, and the replay will be sold for more than the cost of the ticket. It's probably more beneficial for you to just get it, even if you can't make it to that webinar. Ro, do you record your lives? Sometimes they are down. Sometimes I download them if they're worth it for me to download, and sometimes they do go on YouTube.
Yeah, we gotta get you cracking on YouTube.
I know. Now that I have Tom on the go, he's pushing me. Where's that intro video, Ro? Where is it?
Okay. Well, he did an amazing intro video for my stuff, so I'm really impressed.
Is that the one, the like promo one that has like the black letters and like, yeah, that's an awesome one. That was really good.
Yeah, he just like came up with that, and I was like super sweet. So he designed my logo. So he designed my logo. He did the intro, and then we're gonna be working this week on designing the cover for the journal, and then also I've got him gonna be working on the Narc Avengers like logo. That way we can start merching that too.
Yeah, he's doing really good. He's like working pretty hard on everyone. I feel like we should bring him on for like a Narc Avengers like manager.
Pretty soon we're gonna have our own like team of VAs to keep up with everything.
I know. Yeah, I need this one for my daughter. We both need it. Yeah, Lori, I would go and sign up for that. It's under events. Under my group coaching, there's a link that says, "Why can't I just leave?" And you can book it right through that link. The way the wind is blowing in your hair right now, I know, Brittany. It's so hot here. Day 2 of the discard. I'm heartbroken and can't understand how they can just turn it off. Yeah. I know that feeling. This is a self-aware narcissist right here. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, so the hard perspective is it seems like they just turn it off. But the problem is like they didn't turn it off. They just lowered the mask of what was already there. And like that's the hard reality that, isn't easy, to be able to see or to be able to hear. But typically like a narcissist dropping their mask isn't them revealing, a brand new person. It's revealing the person that was already there, but they were hiding it under, different actions or attitudes. And sometimes it leads up to a discard that's, from either a reverse discard or a discard or, something where there's an event in life that happens that causes all of a sudden that mask to start to drop. And then you start to see that and it pushes you out the door or they leave.
Yeah, it's like they can easily just turn it off, but it was never really on in with, right? It's just that's who they really were. You start to see
like a lot of people struggle with that with like, why doesn't he care about me? Why doesn't she care about me? And when it comes down to it, it's like they didn't to start off with. But that's not the easy thing to be able to say to people. But I mean, it's the truth. When it comes down to it, I talked to a narcissist today, actually, a covert narcissist, and he was talking to me and he was like, "Well, I love this person." And I was like, "Let me stop you there." I was like, "You don't." Because if you did, you'd actually demonstrate it, and you haven't demonstrated it so far, so you can't actually say that you love this person.
Right. Saying that is one thing, but love is a verb, in my opinion. In my opinion, love is a verb. Love is what we do, what we show, how we show someone through our actions how we love them, not just that we love them.
Someone said, do narcs like being isolated away from their supply, like physically moved away from people? Like, no, not necessarily, because a narc doesn't want to be alone. They're typically going after a supply or someone else to validate or make them feel better about themselves, to be able to give them that admiration or that supply. So they're always kind of like looking for the next person or the next thing.
Why won't the narc sign the divorce after a discard? Okay, so I'm going through a divorce right now. I'm like at the tail end of it. I have to actually make some changes so that I can actually get some enforcement on support and stuff like that, support payments. But it's been almost 3 years. And so why won't they sign? Because that is their form of control still, right? Like as someone, whether they discarded you or you discarded them, they don't want to lose that sense of control. And being locked in through marriage is the absolute like most ultimate type of control, because you're locked in legally. And so when you cut the ties legally, I think from a narcissist perspective, correct me if I'm wrong, if you cut those ties legally, it's almost like cutting the control, right? Cutting the supply. And I don't know if a narcissist really wants to do that, right? Personally, my ex he doesn't want to do that. He still wants to be he wants me to be on the hook for certain things. He still wants to manipulate my thoughts and emotions. And if he were to just, a healthy person or someone who's self-aware, someone who's working on themselves and can take accountability and be vulnerable, they will understand what the benefit is of divorcing, because you're no longer in a romantic relationship, and they will sign those papers and cut that off. But with a narcissist, it's like they still have that tie, that control, and they don't want to give that up. That's probably why.
Yeah, it's all about control. And typically it's about either controlling the other person, but ultimately controlling like their image or controlling their mask, So it might be the story that they're telling themselves or that they're telling other people. This is why a lot of times you see like narcissists that like fight to have custody or fight to like interact with the kids. And then when they get the chance to interact with them, they don't show up and they don't care.
Optics, right? They will do all the good things and be the greatest person ever and do all the nice things and give you all the favors and do all these things if someone's watching. No one's watching. What are they doing? Nothing, right? They're only doing this stuff to you when they're being watched or in a way to manipulate you.
Yeah, like they fight to get the kids, and then as soon as they actually get the kids, they drop them off at a babysitter and go do what they want to do.
Yeah. I saw you make a video of this, and I haven't yet. I don't know if it's on a premiere or if I've actually watched. If I just didn't watch it, I'm not sure on YouTube. But somebody says here, how do I deal with a narcissistic husband or person when you're in a long distance relationship? Did you touch on long distance relationships?
I did. That was actually a video I think over the weekend. And
premiere or it's not out yet?
No, it was on like last weekend, I think. Yeah, the video or it might have been a week ago, I don't know. But the video was actually along the lines of like how narcissists love long distance relationships because they're easy to manipulate. Long distance relationships is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good way to describe it now, but like it's literally like perfect because then you can call someone up anytime you want to get emotional supply, and then you can go out and be with someone else and they have no clue. So like, long distance relationship is like perfect for like the narcissist because that's where they can actually have their cake and eat it too, and no one actually knows.
Easier to lie, easier to sneak around, not a lot to cover up because no one's physically there. And also probably easier for the narcissist to check out whenever they want emotionally because they're not there in their sight, right? They're not there like try and hold them accountable or whatever. They're off doing their own thing. So then the narcissist is more justified. So how do you deal with a narcissistic husband when you're in a long distance relationship? My personal opinion, you don't. If you're dealing with a narcissist, don't deal with them, right? But that's easier said than done. This could just be like what Ben's kind of trying to say is like it is just a lot easier for a narcissist to be this way when you're not, in the same place as them. So, yeah.
Yeah. No,
that's
absolutely.
how the ex was, yeah.
Someone asked if overt narcissist that I talked to truly believed he loved that girl. I don't think so because he didn't fight me on it. Like literally I called him out and then like we kept on talking. Like he didn't really like stay on it. So I don't really think that it was to that level.
Yeah, I mean, did they know they were like have the traits? Were they calling you for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that like that this is if somebody is recognizing certain behaviors in themselves that say they're narcissistic, right? And then they say something like, I love this person, I think I love them. It is easier for someone who can identify that what the words mean and what your actions are totally different and don't align. Right. When you call someone out on it, if they get a little pushback about it, then there's something they need to work on and deal with, right? If they're like, well, yeah, you're right? Or it's like, no, I do love her, I do.
Right.
Then you kind of know that there's something there that they're having a hard time like collecting up here.
Yeah, he said he got more out of it than he had like working with his therapist for a while because I don't think his therapist really understands it or is willing to like call him out. Because I called him out on that, and then like I kind of identified like later as we were talking, I was like, no matter like if you cut out people in your life and you get with this one person, nothing's going to change because you're addicted to the chase. Like you're addicted to the high of like chasing that person. So like every time you catch them, you're gonna be like, I don't know what to do now.
Right. Yeah. Someone's asking here, I tried to use the gray rock technique, but he pushes and pushes until I finally snap. Any advice? That's reactive abuse. That's reactive
Did they
abuse.
have kids or
You
divorced or
have
anything?
kids together, Amanda. Do you have kids together? What happens with the gray rock technique is what it is. It's to diffuse a potential fire, right? If there's a little bit of a
Mm-hmm.
flame happening, right? The gray rock technique takes that flame down to nothing before it erupts into a huge fire, right? A giant fire. What he does is he keeps trying to put kindling. He keeps trying to make that fire go, 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 go. And if you get heated and you respond and you have an emotional reaction, that boom turns into a big flame, and then he's pulling the phone out and recording you because now you look abusive. And then we forget where the abuse actually started was from them poking the bear and getting you to egg yourself on and to go, 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 go. So I know you try to use the gray rock method. What you can do mentally just to make that shift, that distinction of, is this an attack or is this trying to get reaction, like a reaction, right? You have to understand that when narcissists speak to you, they're speaking to you from this mental state of a child. So they have emotional immaturity and they don't really know how to identify their own feelings, right? So they try to control yours. And then you're responding and reacting on emotional thinking, right? We have to think logically. So before you start to react, remember the very last time you turned this flame into a bonfire, and remember how that turned out for you. Usually doesn't turn out well. For me, I threw a plate at my ex-husband. Didn't turn out well because he moved out of the way and there was a dent in the wall, and I looked at that dent every single time and thought I was the abusive one. I always had guilt and shame looking at that dent and thinking how he got out of the way and I was the abuser. So think about, play the tape to the end, figure out what that feels like and live in that. So when he tries to egg you on and try to push, before you blow up, think about that and use your logical thinking, not your emotional thinking. Remember, the narcissist doesn't know how to use their emotional thinking. They put that onto you. So you have to be able to save your emotional thinking for other aspects of your life that deserve it. Use your logical thinking and try to diffuse that. Yes, you can use a gray rock technique, but it's a mindset thing, right? Where did I get my shirt? I got it at like Winners or something.
It's a mindset thing. You have to think of it, like she was saying, as like an attack, because that's all it is. It's like they're trying to push you to the place of like getting you to react in a abusive type manner so that they can either sit back and be happy, that they caused a reaction out of you, or so they can record you, so they can prove to other people that they're the victim in that relationship.
Welcome. Yeah, they definitely do that. It's so common. I'm sure you've seen videos of mine, videos of Ben's, where we're playing the role of a narcissist and pulling out the phone. It happens so commonly, and usually we get a lot of views and a lot of traction on those videos because people resonate with that. It's so relatable. Like, how many of us have been recorded by a narcissist? Right? Yeah. Hands up if you have. Like, even Ben, being a self-aware narcissist, has had this type of abuse. He has had it on both ends. And a lot of us have only had it on one end. So we know what it feels like to be violated in that way, where you're being recorded and now everything is, and God forbid you record them to try to hold yourself accountable, right? There's a video that has been circling around that's like pretty big right now where a woman is recording her boyfriend or partner, and he's yelling and screaming at her, and this she's feeling so invisible when she's hiding the camera. She's so ashamed that she's recording it, but she's doing this because probably she's being gaslit to think that this reality is actually happening. She needs the proof to know that this is what is actually happening, because
Is that the one that like hits the mirror?
Well, he's talking about how I spent my last $3 on food and you took this salad and blah, blah, blah. And she's like,
yeah. Where it's like pointed on her and he's like off screen.
He's off to the side. He's putting stuff in the garbage, and then she's kind of covering the camera a little bit. Okay. I want to stitch that one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I need to stitch that too because it's so true.
Yeah.
I had someone ask like what if you asked the narcissist to record, and it was like that's like when you ask, it's like perfect because then they can do a production and then they can still use the
They'll
word
know.
salad and manipulation to make you. But if you're recording without their consent, yeah, expect all hell to break loose if they find out.
Oh yeah, sure, record me. Record
Hmm.
me. As long as I know
Right.
I'm being recorded, then we can show
Yeah.
everyone, show the world how crazy you are.
That's where you
But
have them be
I'm
like, I've
not.
got nothing to hide. I think one phrase that a lot of times people don't realize is like when the narcissist actually says, like, ask me anything. Like, I'll be honest, ask me anything. Like, that's actually like a leading conversation because the narcissist wants you to ask them everything because then they know exactly how much you know and how much they can steer the conversation. Like, ask me anything. Like, I'll be honest, ask me anything is like perfect on like the narcissist side because as soon as you do that, that means I've got control.
Oh yeah, that's really good. That's really good. An open book. The guy that I dated right after my ex-husband was like that. I'm an open book. I'm an open
Hmm.
book. You can totally ask me anything. I'll be honest. Can you introduce Raw for all of those who've just tuned in? I'm Ro. Anyone who's coming into my side, this is Ben Taylor, Raw Motivations. He is a self-aware narcissist, sharing his story on TikTok, helping other people. What is your thing? Grow, change. You have a thing, right?
So awareness, growth,
Rare.
and now you have me awareness, growth, healing, and change.
Awareness, growth, healing, and change. I don't want to butcher it, so I'm not just going to make shit up. Awareness,
Yep.
growth, healing, and change. He has the Narc app, which is linked in my bio. If anyone's on my side wanting to download that
Hmm.
app, you're going to get a lot of fun nuggets in that app. I have a healthy dating after abuse course on that app. There's also a course on boundaries, which I know I talk a lot about. So you're going to get this really beautiful course on boundaries by Abuse is Abuse. Her name is Bree, a friend of ours,
Hmm.
also in the Narc Avengers group, and it's called the Narc app, uh, which stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. So you can
Hmm.
download that, and this has been. Hopefully that was a good introduction. Love you
Yeah,
both.
no, I think that was great. So, I mean, we're just winging it. I did have a question that popped up for you. It was about like
And
co-parenting.
I got one for you.
Okay,
So while you're
so
finding it,
what
I'll
to
ask
do
yours.
what
Oh
to
yeah, go
do
ahead.
when co-parenting with a narcissist, especially when they're so inconsistent.
Yeah. So here, this is something that you have to remember when you're dealing with a narcissist. Is co-parenting. If you are co-parenting, if you have kids together, co-parenting doesn't exist.
Hmm.
Unpopular opinion, sorry to break it to you, you cannot co-parent with someone who doesn't want to cooperate with anyone. They are an island, they are themselves, they're only for themselves.
Right.
They don't think about other people. They nothing exists to them. They're like a child looking at their mommy going, I don't care that you're sick. I don't care that you're cooking dinner. I don't care you got 5 things on the go. I want my candy and I want it right now. I don't give
Hmm.
a flying crap what you're up to. I need this and I need it right now. So they're not thinking about your needs or even their kids' needs for that matter. So co parenting doesn't exist. What you
Right.
have to learn is parallel parenting, which means like you do your thing, they do their thing, have a plan in place. I can help you with this in a one on one session coaching with me. I can help you come up with a parenting plan that gives you boundaries, that
Hmm.
separates you from the cooperation with someone who will never cooperate with you. Because what a narcissist actually does is counter parent. You want to put your child in boxing, they're going to want to put them in ballet. They don't want to have this person in school. In this school, they're going to pull them out and try to put them in that school. They're going to put them in all these extracurricular activities and then make you pay for them that you didn't
Hmm.
consent to, right? They're going to all of a sudden be going to some church that you never went to one church in your whole life. Like, so these are things that they'll do just to exhaust you and put
Right.
all this mental load onto your plate, and then you get so fed up with chaos that you just collapse and exhaust yourself and give into whatever it is they want. It is
Hmm.
pretty much impossible to co-parent with a narcissist unless they're self-aware, they're healing, they're going to therapy, they're taking accountability, being vulnerable, all of that sort of stuff. But if they're not doing
Yeah.
that and they're just going about their merry way, being their kind of miserable selves, you will not be able to co-parent with them. You have to come up with a plan that protects yourself.
It's,
Somebody
it's
asked
the
you,
it's the long game. Like they're always like, if they can just keep like poking and prodding, they'll eventually get their way, or they'll eventually get the reaction they're looking for.
yeah, and it's really stupid, silly things too. It's like, oh, this you're not putting lip chap on our son. Why is his lips all chapped? Right? They'll
Right.
be they'll be picking at you, and then what happened if you're a mom or a dad? You're going to start questioning your parenting skills. Am I a good mom? Am I
Hmm.
a good dad? you're going to start wondering if you're good at what you're doing, because they want to also cut to your insecurity. They want to make you feel like you're not enough
Right.
because they don't feel like that. So just try to avoid thinking about a partnership, because even people who live together, who sleep in the same bed, who are married and in love, are still co-parents. Anytime you share kids with somebody else, you're co-parenting. So you can't co-parent with someone who's not cooperating with you.
Right.
This is a question for you, Ben. What was your
Okay.
aha moment? What made you self-aware?
Yeah. I get this one a lot, and a lot of times I just direct them over to YouTube because I don't have an aha moment. I don't have what I always say is I don't have a light bulb. I don't have a light bulb moment where the switch kind of flicked on. I kind of had a dimmer switch that,
Ben,
took
Lee has it.
place over time. What's that?
Lee's like, I got this one, Ben. I saw
It's
Lee Hammock and I knew.
right.
Well, if you can think of something, like, was there any kind of moment where you were like, oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
there's like a couple different things. Like for me, like part of it was there wasn't an aha moment. It was more or less I started getting like all the different like pieces of the puzzle that eventually I kind of formed together and figured out that it spelled the word narcissist. So like for
Mm,
me, it was like a lot of different events. And so it was learning about my personality, realizing that I don't have the emotional like empathy, maturity, like a lot of stuff that wasn't there, like learning about, shame and what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, vulnerability. I don't like that word anyways. Like shame and vulnerability and like how like that impacts me. Like all these things were stuff that I was like learning like separate. Like I read Brene Brown's book, like I've read it 3 times now, and it wasn't until the third time I read it that I saw that there was like a chapter about narcissists. Like the first 2 times I read it, there was like no recollection. Like it was like it didn't even exist, out of sight, out of mind, right? That's already in the
that's
past. And
not
so for
me.
me, like I like read through different things and I identified with different pieces that eventually kind of came together and helped me understand. So there's like an aspect, probably like the two other like biggest things. I mean, there's like a lot of things. One of the things was going through the Wake Up Warrior Challenge, where I actually got to the place of like understanding, hey, I have lies. Like I knew I had lies to other people, but I didn't really care. It was more like I have lies between myself and God, between myself and others, between myself, me, myself, and I, like all that kind of stuff. And then also like getting together with a girl who had BPD and narcissistic traits and seeing that stuff done to me. And I was like, oh, that's what I normally do. That kind of thing also kind of like helps solidify some of the aspect of like, okay, I actually am a narcissist versus like anything else. Because we experimented with other things like thinking I was a sociopath or a sex addict or like different things like that was other stuff that we researched.
I guess what I want to know personally is, like, what was the moment of vulnerability? I know you hate that word, but and I asked from a place of, I had a husband that I wished, and I don't even know if this was, if like, have, with everything that had happened, there would be
Mm,
absolutely nothing, no way. The very first day we went into couples therapy, the therapist said, what would be one thing you could do for Rossana? One thing that, so for me, one thing
mm.
that he could do for you, Rossana, what would be one thing that would make this marriage work? And all I said was for him to be a real person. And I don't know what even that meant when I was in therapy. I was just like,
Hmm.
okay, what can you elaborate on that? Well, no lies, no pretending, no this. I just want you to
Right.
be real. I just want to know who the heck you are. Who did I marry? And so,
Hmm.
like, just that vulnerability and being able to say, this is who I am, a real person. Like, what was that moment for you? Was there a moment where you were like, I'm vulnerable now?
That moment I would say hasn't, yeah, it's not a moment. Like it's been like a
A lot of,
long change because I view it kind of like this way of being like I view kind of like honesty and then like the next level is like vulnerability. Like I don't really view them both necessarily being exactly the same, even though I normally say like if your narcissist isn't honest, vulnerable, or consistent change, like leave. But like for me, like there was an aspect that I had to get to the place where I worked on clearing out the lies that I had. I worked on being honest. Like I had to actually make it intentional because I knew if I'm not honest, like if I can't be fully known, then I can't be fully loved. If I can't fully express who I am, then there's no chance of anyone actually understanding who I am and actually sticking with me. So like there's an aspect of like, okay, I knew I got to the place where I was like, I need to clear out the lies. So I literally had to like go to the closet and start clearing out all the lies like in the past. The problem was, there was still that shame and vulnerability that I didn't want to approach with. And so what I got into the habit of doing for, probably a good like 6 months or so was like drip truth. One thing, oh yeah, this is a truth. And then, a week later, oh yeah, this is something else. And which put my wife in like a constant state of like shock, because it's just like one thing after another that was like awful for her. So I don't recommend drip truth to anybody, but like that's kind of like what I got to. And then I finally got to the place where I was like, I remember I was like sitting one time and I was like, I actually think that that's it. Like it was kind of like this moment of like understanding of like, I don't think I have any more lies. And then part of it too then was clear out the old lies, but then also like work on no new lies, because like that's a whole aspect too. And I'm a planner, so I literally had to like write it out on my whiteboard, and I had to script it out like week to week of like, okay, this week is like identify the lies. Like I know I have lies, I just need to spot them. Like okay, like I can see them. And then it was like, okay, like go back and like catch the lies as far as like go back later that day and be like, hey, like earlier what I said, it actually wasn't 100% true. And then like, okay, then the next week, like I want to catch the lies when they're happening, be like, hey, what I just said wasn't true. And then like I want to start to get to the place where I can catch them before I even say them. But like I literally had to like script that out kind of like in my mind to make sure I was like getting to the place where I'm being transparent and honest. And really it's kind of like a weight that lifts off that didn't really expect as far as like the lies, because of the burden of all the stories that you have to keep, all the different like stories, really, I mean all the different kind of things you have to keep with like each person, which I didn't have to worry about that as much as I was going to therapy, because like I lost pretty much everybody like in my life whenever left my job and all that kind of stuff. But like got to the place of like, okay, like I need to clear out the lies with her. And then so like now like a new aspect is like the vulnerability piece. And I don't say new as far as like it hasn't been there, but like now it's like more focused of that, and like more of like, okay, it needs to get to another level of like, hey, this is what I'm thinking in the moment, instead of like shutting down or like running away. And like the word of the phrase this week from counseling, because we go to counseling like every other week right now with like both of us, and is like the word that I picked up was like micro honesty. So it's like, what can I work on with like these tiny little things of like, hey, I know we already talked about the subject, but can we bring it back up, because like this is how I'm feeling now about it, or this is like something that
Ah,
resurfaced about it. And so that's been something that's been kind of like my word for the week.
I like that. Micro honesty. And then also checking yourself like every time you feel like something might come up where you want to be dishonest.
Hmm.
Riggedy wreck yourself before you check yourself. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you broke Joy. You broke no contact after 3 weeks today.
Hmm.
I want to tell you something. Love your shirt. Thank you. I want to tell you something about breaking no contact. It's a relapse. It always happens. So you're not alone.
Hmm.
You can understand what you didn't serve you in that moment, and it probably didn't end up well, especially if you're putting crying face emojis, right? When you break no contact, you have a relapse. And
Hmm.
we all, anyone who has suffered addiction, who has had addiction issues, who have been, you're in a trauma bond, which is an addiction to a person,
Hmm.
right? Addiction to the
Right.
abuse, addiction to a type of energy that's draining. And we sometimes have to go back to that to show ourselves how bad it was, right? We have to kind of pick up the phone and hurt ourselves just to see if the pain's still there. And you
Hmm.
you you very quickly realize the pain is still there. But it's a lesson. It's a lesson so that every time you pick up that phone, you remember how much it hurts to pick it up and to answer and to break no contact. So you have to
Right.
give yourself grace, be kind to yourself, accept that that's a feeling that we need. Sometimes when an abuser abuses us, they soothe us after, and sometimes we get abused mentally just by the trigger of them, and we go back thinking we're going to get soothed by the same person who abused us. It doesn't really work that way after a discard. So be kind to yourself. Realize,
Hmm.
yes, exactly, realize nothing's changed, and this is a lesson. So use that feeling that you're telling me in a crying face emoji. Use that feeling every time you're about to pick up the phone, every time
Hmm.
you're about to check their social media, every time you're about to respond to that text or thinking about unblocking them. think about this feeling that you feel right now and use this as a lesson to make a better choice.
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because part of that goes back to like the story that you create in your mind of like why you want to contact them. Sometimes it's looking back on the past and only seeing like the best parts and ignoring like the bad parts, ignoring like the parts where you're like, there is like one moment of good and like a year of like bad. But like that's what our minds want to focus on because of trauma, because it's like the easiest thing to be able to lock onto. But like making sure that you understand like, hey, like that thought that you're having is going to keep pulling you back time and time again until you actually like rewire that thought, until you actually change the pathway that thought goes down. It's going to keep happening. It's almost like habits. Like you build good habits and it leads you to good places. You have developed bad habits and it leads you to bad places. And so part of it is like rewiring that thought process of like not going that same direction. So like what Ro was saying is like, acknowledge like the truth, like understand like, hey, this is the feeling I'm going to feel like when I get back with this person, or like vice versa, understanding and knowing, and really questioning yourself sometimes too of like, what am I looking for out of this? Like, what am I going to get? Like, if I compare my journal, my list of 50 things that they did abusive, and like one thing that they did nice, like, what am I actually looking for? And a lot of times people are looking for a fantasy that's not reality.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's that story we tell ourselves. Bree is in here, guys. Abuse is abuse. Please go follow Bree. She does have that. I mentioned Bree before in the Narc app. She has the Boundaries course, and an amazing creator, and also a Narc Avenger. So please, if you're not following all 16 of us, if you're following us too, you should probably follow all of us
And
because
we
we
now
all work
have
together.
we now have Narc Avengers on Instagram and also TikTok, so you can actually look up just Narc Avengers on Instagram and TikTok. Jules actually put together our own account for us, and I'm still working
You
on
can
the
see who
website.
everybody is.
It's like a little bit up. You can get to like the first page right now. We're working on setting up everything for Texas so people can actually like book different things with people. But the narcavengers.com is also like half up and running too.
That's amazing. Yes, guys, narcavengers.com. It's a landing page, but just while it's in the works, you can see who all of the Narc Avengers are. And I
Mhm.
believe if you know the photos, you can find out which Avenger we are. Who
Yes, yeah,
knows what
and
I am, by
they're
the
all
way?
there.
If anybody is in here, I want to know. Here's a little quiz, and I know you could probably leave the live and go find out and come back. But who wants to take a guess of which Avenger I am? I'm not an Avenger fan, so I'm actually kind of happy about this one because it's a well-known one. So there's a clue. So while we're
I'm
chatting,
curious.
if
I'm
you
curious.
know,
I'm curious who knows mine either. I'm
yeah,
not
and if
sure.
you know what Ben's is, put your hand up, say it. If you want to take a guess, just put Ben and the Avenger you think he is, and put Ro and put the Avenger who you think I am. If you want to, if you want to play this game,
Someone
I
guessed
like to kind
Hulk,
of
but I don't know which one they were
Wonder
talking about.
Woman. Lindsay knows both. She's not allowed to pick. Hi,
We don't.
Lindsay.
We don't
Yeah.
have a Wonder Woman, do we?
We don't. No.
I didn't think of that. I
Wonder
didn't think of
Woman.
that.
Actually, Wonder Woman.
Someone guessed Hulk, and no, we actually have an Avenger who is the Hulk, but
Yeah, we do have a Hulk, but it's not. It's not either of
it's not
us.
us.
My guess would be Wonder Woman. Yeah. Nope. Nope. Not Wonder Woman.
Nope.
Nope. Not Wonder Woman. I know he has a possible new supply. Do they treat them better? That's
Mm,
sad. That makes me sad if so. So
mm,
if the person has a possible new supply, you're probably right because your gut instinct is telling you that there's somebody new, and whatever your gut tells you, your intuition's pretty strong. It's probably true. And it makes a lot of sense. It's really common for narcissists to have a supply closet, a
right.
supply, a shelf filled with people that they could use for any kind of attention and energy, whatever they need. And so, yeah, they can move on to a new supply real quick. Sometimes they even move someone in real quick. And do they
Right.
treat them better? Yes. I'm going to say yes because the reason why is because they don't know any better. They want to treat someone better for show. Remember how I said earlier how everything is optics? They know you're watching. They know you can see this. They'll put it on Instagram and buy them this like something that you wanted, right? You
Hmm.
wanted this thing and all of a sudden they bought it for them, right? Or you wanted to go on this trip somewhere and all of a sudden they've got photos of that same trip that you really wanted. They're doing this stuff to hurt you. They do this to hurt you. Do they treat the new supply better? Yes, but it's always a mask. It's always fake. So one day the shoe's going to drop and this new supply is going to be joining the support group with us.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times it's
Scarlet
like,
Witch. No.
what's that?
Someone said Scarlet Witch, but no.
No, but she is in my chat over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so sometimes I'll play the opposite side and I'll be like, yeah, they are getting it better. Like kind of like you were saying, they're getting better gaslighting, better manipulation. Like they
Mm,
hone their craft as they continue moving forward. And so like the thing you have to remember is like it's all a facade, it's all a projection, it's all like what's going to happen. It's a production to make you think that it's actually better than what it actually is. When it's not, they're just you're seeing love bombing from the outside, and so you get to see the artist at their work. You get to see the love bombing from the outside and be like, oh, like they really love that person. Like no, they're actually constructing a mask. And I think sometimes people get confused because they're like, wait, they didn't look that way with me. Well, that's because you have your own personalized mask. Like the
mm,
narcissist creates the mask on the fly because they want to be able to get with you and figure out what makes you tick. And so when a narcissist gets with a new person, they're reconstructing a brand new mask, and it's like really quick because they're going to bond over the same things. Another thing too that a lot of people don't realize is sometimes when you see the narcissist do the exact things that you wanted in the relationship with the new person, it's one
uh-huh.
of two things. Oftentimes it's because they're trying to make a statement to you and they're just messing with you. Like all it is just a way to be able to get back at you while love bombing the next person. The other thing is they're not really that smart to come up with brand new ideas. And so really what they do is they're like, wait a second, this person wanted to go to Hawaii. Hey babe, we're going to Hawaii. The other
Hawaii.
person might not even want to go to Hawaii. And so it's another way of abuse that'll happen because they'll control another person with something they learned from someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like double. It's like they're like two birds with one stone. I can abuse my ex by doing all the things my ex wanted, and love bomb the new one, thinking that I'm so like they're gonna be sitting there thinking I'm so romantic, I'm so creative, I'm so on the fly with my spontaneity and generosity. When really those were ideas that were asked every single day by the old supply, by you, by the ex, and they're
Hmm.
just giving it to the other person as if they're their ideas. So two birds with one stone for sure.
Someone finally guessed over here that was Doctor Strange. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Nobody knows what
Um,
I am. No one knows what I
and
am.
I had someone. Um, I don't know why they said Gwen first. That's what's confusing. But then they said Spider Woman,
Oh, okay, yeah.
the closest we've had so far.
Well, yeah, we can change. This doesn't have to be gender specific. Abuse knows no gender, right? So I can be any gender when I'm fighting against abusers as Spider Woman, because there's no Spider Woman. But yes, I am Spider Man,
Right.
Mrs.
Yep.
Miss Marvel.
Spider
Yeah,
Spider Person, Lindsay said.
Spider Person. I'm Spider Person. Let's keep it inclusive. Let's keep it inclusive. Black Widow. No, we do have a Black Widow though.
Yep, we already have a Black Widow. I had
Yep.
earlier over here. I had Black Widow and Wanda over here on my side,
Yeah, somebody said Wanda here. Somebody could have been going back and forth.
and now I have. Gosh, I'm like blanking though on Lindsay. She's over here, but I don't remember hers. It's so awful.
Isn't it? Isn't it
Yep, see, you're wondering. There we go. Thor. Yeah, she said
Thor?
Thor.
Thor. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Lions not
That's
sheep.
what I was
Love
gonna guess.
that.
I just didn't want to be wrong.
We're matching. Yeah, we're matching. Lions not sheep. Love that. Mermaid says. What traits and/or responses from others that made it difficult to narc them?
Can you
What
say
tra-
that again?
what traits and/or responses from others that made it difficult to narc them? What do you mean by narc them? Can we elaborate on that? Traits, responses by others that made it difficult to narc them. Hey, Coach Ro, what's going on, John? Yeah, Atalia, can you elaborate on that? I'm trying to figure that part out. Um,
Tyler said there actually is a Spider Woman. It's probably in the comics, but not in the TV in the
oh,
movies yet.
Spider Woman? Is she
That's
an
what he said.
Avenger? I'm
Well, no,
Spider.
she would be. Well, I don't know.
Boundaries. Boundaries. Would that be? Oh, are you answering that question? What traits would be difficult to narc them? Would be boundaries. Manipulation. All the narc characteristics to get what they want. I'm still lost. Still a little bit lost on that question.
I'm half lost too because I was half paying attention because they were like talking to themselves over here.
um, responses. So difficult to narc them. So you mean like difficult for a narcissist to be a
Lindsay
narcissist?
said replace narc with abuse, and the sentence makes sense.
Oh, yeah. What would make it difficult to abuse someone, to narc them, to be a narcissist towards them? Yeah, having
Oh, there you go.
boundaries, right?
What
Having
traits does someone have to make
standards,
them hard to abuse? Oh,
education, having this knowledge on what these tactics are that narcissists like to use to abuse people in their lives, and understanding what that is. When I
hmm
didn't know what silent treatment was, it would be very abusive. You know, he would go long periods of time, weeks on end, where I would come home and it would be so tense. And I would be like, "What do you want for dinner, babe?" And like that, right? And it sitting on the phone and totally ignoring me like I don't matter. And you know, it's kind of like, oh, I'm getting the silent treatment. Sometimes you kind of downplay what that is, but it's really painful. And it was really painful when I didn't know what it was. I was like, what did I do wrong? Why am I
hmm
in trouble? What can I do to fix this? And go into a deep depression. And just like that radio silence within your own home is so hard to deal with. It's like an injury. It feels like someone punched me in the gut. Once I found out what silent treatment is, and that it's just a form of punishment, and understanding what that is, it was a lot harder for it to affect me the same way it used to, right? So just having the
Right.
knowledge would be something that you could do. Having boundaries, having knowledge, understanding, staying in this community, figuring out what all
hmm
the character, like what the behaviors are and what their tactics are, to arm yourself with the tools to protect your mental health and your peace. I think that
Yeah.
hopefully that answers the question.
I think the biggest one that I've been like landing on recently is really comes back to identity because I've been starting to see that like your identity and your purpose and your vision and your values and the direction you want to go in life is actually what you build your boundaries off of because you have two types of boundaries. You have reactive and you have active. You have reactive boundaries, so that's like I just got out of a relationship where the person cheated on me the whole time. So that's my boundary going to the next one is don't cheat on me. But then you have your active one of like, hey, I want someone who's honest because I want to live an honest life. And you go into that being like, this is the person I want to live. And so if a person doesn't come up to that standard or doesn't come alongside and be supportive of that, then that's a boundary right there of like, hey, like you're not actually helping support or helping go the same direction that I'm going. So like that's like a boundary that like I like it's great. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You can go do your own thing, but I'm going this direction. And I think when people start honing in on a sense of identity, because you have people that have been with narcissists that don't feel like they have identity anymore, because they feel like it's stolen. But you also have an aspect of people that get with a narcissist that don't have an identity to start off with, or not a fully honed in one. Because if you have that identity of like, I know who I am, I know my purpose, I know where I'm going in life, then that means you don't let someone sidetrack you. And that's really what the narcissist tries to do is they try to pull you over into like their realm, into their world. And the people that don't get pulled over are the ones that have a strong sense of identity and also have those boundaries that match up to help them live in congruence of who they want to be.
I love that. So true. I think that like if you go in strong with that sense of identity, with the sense of purpose, and you see the trajectory, the path of where you want your life to go, and you know what your standards are in people who are allowed to sit at the table in your life, like the people who are allowed. So like
Mm-hmm.
last night in the coaching, I said we're a nightclub. All of us are a nightclub, and we have a cover charge. The cover charge are our standards, our boundaries. Who's allowed in has to pay that cover charge. If they don't got the money to get in, they don't have access to the club. They don't get in, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we need to be able to find out what that cover charge is. What are your standards? What are your
Mm-hmm.
boundaries? Who do you allow in? I think that is a huge thing. That's an important part of your
Yeah.
identity. I love that. Speak
I,
truth.
I had one over here that asked a good question. They said, Ben, what did you do if you couldn't make a supply abandon their identity?
Make a supply abandon their identity.
Yeah,
Ooh, this is
because I
trigger
mentioned that.
warning.
Yeah. So
Trigger
so
warning,
so the
guys.
thing so I would really say one, I didn't because I did what I set out to do. And the other thing is you learn early on how to establish. So I don't know how to describe it. And Lee and I were talking about this like a couple weeks ago about like picking up on people's energies and picking up on like understanding what's going on. But like it's almost I tried to explain this one time before. All right, it's like you walk into a room and you see three people standing there, and instantly it's almost like you can know right away the first person's the ringleader, but they're actually insecure underneath. The second person is like the side chick. The third one is the one that's actually like hidden in the background. Which one can you actually go and be able to take their identity? How they communicate, how they come across instantly tells you which one to align with, which one to avoid, and which one to kind of partner with in different aspects so that you can actually take their identity or so you can actually work to get to a place where you develop like a trauma bond. And all this happens in like an instant. And so you get to that place of like you walk into the room and you're like, that person's open. That person. And it's weird because if you like, I don't know who knows about like energy work and stuff like that. I thought it was like crazy until my therapist did some on me and I was like, what the hell is happening? But it's true. There's people that have what they're called what I like to call them is like energy doors that are open. Like you can walk into a room and you can look around a room, and when you can pick up on different people's energy, you can actually know that person has an emotional door open, that person has a sexual door open, that person has a friendship door open. And then I knew in that aspect, okay, like I'd walk up to people and be like, okay, like I wouldn't even try. It wouldn't even be someone that I would try because I knew it was already closed. Like it wasn't something, it was like a disengagement that happened or like something where they didn't notice me enough. So I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one until I find someone that adores or honors me the way that I think I should be. And then I know I have something I can work with.
That makes sense to me. I kind of get that. It's like scanning, right? And just being like, which one, which one, which one.
Hmm.
Reading the
I need
room.
to actually like do like a video of it. I just haven't actually sat down enough to actually like
Map it
decompress
out.
like
Yeah,
the actual
produce
like
it.
brain process of it.
Because it's there. I mean, it's relatable. You can turn it into a skit somehow.
Hmm.
I think there's
Probably.
a way to do it. Like when
I
I think
tried
about
to I tried to do an illustration today and I like completely botched it. I was doing a one-on-one. I was trying to get like the idea of like the narcissist karma and like what they walk away from, and I like completely botched it. I'm still trying to figure out. There's an illustration there. It's just half baked and I haven't figured it out. But it had like the idea of like, do they get karma because like they walk away, and it's almost like you go up to someone and you hand them like $1 million and they turn around and they use it to like wipe their butt with it, because like in all reality, like they don't care. But like the sad part about it is not just the fact that they don't care, but that they'll never understand what they lost. And it's
right.
almost like the
Oh,
person is like, but I want them to care, I want them to understand, but they don't. And so like that's the thing that's also like sad. Not that I'm like saying like, oh, like be sad for narcissists. I'm just saying like that's the sad part, reality of it in one sense is like understanding like your worth isn't defined by anybody else out there. Your worth is yours. And then how you continue to work on yourself, your self-worth, your confidence all comes back to you, not to someone else, because they'll discard it in a heartbeat and not think anything of it. And like the sad part is they'll never realize that. And that's also part of their karma, is because they'll never realize that, they can never hope to have any healing, growth, change, anything. They're stuck.
yeah.
They're slaves
Yeah.
to their own compulsion and impulse.
I have a video about this I made. I'm probably gonna maybe try to redo it about the narcissist karma, and it actually went really well on Instagram when I redid it on Instagram. But I think I should redo it
Mm.
now, like just with me talking. And what I always say is a narcissist will never hurt the same way that you hurt. They'll never suffer in the same exact manner as you, but their own suffering and their own karma means that they have to be them.
Hmm.
And that's a prison, because it's a prison of unawareness, it's a prison of blindness, it's a prison of never knowing how to connect, how to feel, show, and appreciate another human being, and how to empathize and live and experience somebody else other than themselves. That's an
Hmm.
island, a prison, and they're going to do that forever unless they realize. So that missing link, that lack of self-realization is their karma.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good way to put it.
I should do a video. Yes, yes, inner validation. So
Yeah.
you got to go,
There
hey?
you go.
You got to get going.
Yep, I'm gonna jump off here because we're gonna be jumping over inside the Narc app and talking to some people live in there as well, I think.
So I'll be here. I'll be sticking around for another 10 minutes. But before he goes, go over to the link in my bio, check the Narc app, which is the first link under resources. And then you can go see Ben live on the Narc app.
Cool, cool. Anyways,
Cool.
thanks so much. It was
Thank
great to talk to
you.
you. This is
Yeah,
actually the first time we've ever done this.
I know. Yeah, we'll have to make it more regular. I like this.
Right. Well, we got the hats to match, so we
We
might
have
as
the
well.
hats. We can always do
Did
the
you
hats.
notice?
I can always get
This is the
more.
fourth. This is the fourth one.
Red shirts are not hats are not red flags, but red hats.
Did you notice? This is the fourth one.
How many you have now? Oh yeah, you have a lot. You have quite a bit.
No, but I changed them out while we were talking. I didn't know if anybody noticed.
I didn't notice.
I started with the black one, then I switched to the camo one, and then I switched to this one, and then I just switched to the red one like at like 9 o'clock.
Talk about some subtle gaslighting.
That's when you saw me do like this, and then I came back on screen. I had a different hat on. I know like, Brittany noticed over here, and also Bree did as well.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know. What an opportunity for gaslighting. I could have been like, "Isn't your hat the same?" No, I've always had this red one on. I literally didn't even notice. That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. I was wondering if you did. A couple people caught on to it on my side, but like I tried to just keep a straight face and just kind of like ignore it.
I thought you were just like eating like nuts or like blowing your nose or something.
Nope.
Too funny.
No, that's hilarious. No, I think I only have 4. I've got 4, but then I also now have 4 of the warrior hats, and like I showed you those. Like I absolutely love them. Like the emblem. Like I like it just because it's like
leather
nice,
one,
but it's all like subtle.
I like that leather one. I'm gonna have to get myself a couple more of these.
This
is kind of my
really
style.
The only thing I don't like about like some of like I like the flat build better because the stretch ones, I'm a narcissist, so I already have a big head, so like it hurts after a while. They're not big enough. So I've actually got one like stretched out on a book right now.
This is a snapback, so you can adjust. But you know, I
like the snapbacks better.
Yeah, this is a snapback. So we can do snapbacks. Cool.
Anyways, peace out. Y'all have a good night.
Check them out on the Narc app, guys. Bye, Ben. Thank you.
See.
Awesome. How awesome was that? Wasn't he great? Yeah. So, hands up if you have downloaded the Narc app. Hands up if you have gone to my link tree to check out what I have. I'm going to do my little spiel before I end here. But before I go, any other questions, anything anyone wants to say before I let you know what I have available for you and all the resources that I have. And by the way, his name is Raw Motivations on TikTok. Ro, I can't see your links. Flowerbomb, I don't know. There are some people who don't have access to my links. If you don't have access to my links for some reason, go on just like your regular search engine and type in Linktree/Rollercoaster of Love. Linktree/Rollercoaster of Love. And you can find all my links. I'm not sure why they're not showing up on my TikTok. But if you go to Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, there should be a link on my Instagram with my link tree. If you follow me on YouTube and subscribe, or even if you don't subscribe and you just want to go to my YouTube, you can get access to my link tree there. So if you don't have access to it for some reason, I don't know if TikTok is just being funky, you can just go over to my Instagram or my YouTube and you can find my link tree there. And you're so welcome. Wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't the Narc let me be friends? Let me meet his friends to keep his multiple lives separate. Yeah, it's to keep his multiple lives separate. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Flowerbomb, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there. So a couple things before I go here. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to follow Ben, Ben is another Narc Avenger. Again, he said he's Doctor Strange, and I am Spider-Man. But some people say Spider-Person or Spider-Woman, whatever. I offer one-on-one coaching. Oh, so sorry, for Ben, he has the Narc app. And so if you want to download the app, you can go to the link in my bio if you have access to it, or go to my Instagram and you can get the link in my bio is in there. And download the app. You'll have access to my Healthy Dating After Abuse course, which came out. Oh, thank you so much, Trauma Talk, for subscribing. I appreciate you. Anyone else who wants to subscribe can subscribe to my live to get some I'm Gwen, Spider-Woman in a multi-universe. Ooh, I like that. To get access to any of my special perks, you can subscribe to my live. And Brandon, your Spider-Man is your fave? Oh, nice. I'm your fave. So yeah, that is me on the Narc Avengers. I'm Spider-Man. I do offer one-on-one coaching. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can go to the link in my bio under coaching and book a coaching session with me. Book a coaching session with me. If you think you have some more questions about a narcissist, if you think you might have a narcissistic relationship that you're healing from or that you're still in, right? If you think that you might have trauma from narcissistic parents or a childhood that was toxic, right? So these are things that you can do that I can help you with in my coaching session with you. I can provide you some clarity and some tools to move forward. If you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can. I also offer group coaching sessions. So 25 people in a Zoom call, and we can all have the opportunity to share. We'll have a topic every month. Yesterday was my very first one, and I think it kicked off real great. So whoever was in that group, put your hand up and say, hey, I was there, or just put your hand up. It was an amazing group last night. If you want to book for the next month, which is August 28th, yes, they're amazing. Mermaid was there. Anyone who wants to join that group, it's an amazing group, guys. We always felt so alone, isolated. We felt as if we didn't matter. We were invisible, unheard, unseen. And I promise you, yes, you were there. I promise you, you will be in a group of people who will hear you, who will see you, who will make you feel not alone, who understands you, who gets it, okay? If you want to be in this group of people, tickets sell out fast, and we're pretty close to selling out. I think there's only 15, maybe 15 seats left. So like, it's not even August 1st, and we're like close to getting halfway. So I would book that seat. Go to the link in my bio under events, under coaching, group coaching, August 28th, and book your seat to be there. It's a great, wonderful time of self-care that you can do for yourself, a group of people who understand you. The next thing is there's a live webinar coming up on August 18th called Why Can't I Just Leave? And the author of the book, Why Can't I Just Leave, will be there at the webinar talking to you all about the confusion that we feel in these narcissistic relationships, talking about why we can't just leave, talking about cognitive dissonance, which is a literal mind fuck, talking about competing thoughts, opposing thoughts that don't match, talking about how a narcissist says a bunch of shit but then does the opposite, right? And talking about what that does to us, our emotions, our mental health, and why we can't just leave. Go to that webinar. It's amazing. It's August 18th, and if you can't make it, you get a live replay. So you get the replay of the webinar, you get it emailed to you, you can watch it anytime you want. But if you can make it to the webinar, you get the opportunity to ask Dr. Kirsten Milstead anything you want about this narcissistic relationship you might have been in or are still in, or anything you want to know about what she's going to say in the webinar. There's a Q&A, and she will answer all of your questions for you, as many as she can in the 90-minute webinar. So go to the link in my bio, right under my group coaching, right after you book a group coaching session with me for August 28th. Go ahead and just click that link underneath it and book your ticket for the live webinar. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Pop your freedom date in the chat right now before I get out of here, and tell me when you were free from the narcissist. As we end this live, let me know when you were free from the narcissist, what your freedom date is. Mine is November 15th, 2019, February 5th. And freedom snaps for everybody, February 1st. We got a couple of Februarys here, July 1st. Let's go. I love that fuck up 365. I love that. That's a funny username. Big hearts, yes. Everybody pop your freedom date in. August 23rd. My birthday's August 22nd. It's right one day after my birthday. 6 months out, still hard, trying to keep positive. This is a great community to be in. Just to be positive, to stay positive, stay in this community. We got you. I know exactly what you're feeling. I know exactly what this is like. We totally got you. Okay, guys? So, love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. And Thank you, thank you, thank you. When is it actually start? Whatever a freedom date is for you, just use that as a date. If the freedom date for you meant the day that you left the narcissist, the day that you put on your separation agreement, the day you divorced, the day you went no contact, the day you said, no, I'm not gonna fucking put up with this shit anymore, that could be the day. Whatever day you decide for you is your date. And if you're not free yet and you're not comfortable putting a date on it yet, that's okay. I'm here to tell you that this being here in this energy in this group is going to be your inspiration and your motivation and your sign that you deserve better and that you will have a freedom date. You could look me in the eyes right now. I'm going to tell you you will have a freedom date, and one of these days you're going to be in this live telling me about it, and we are all going to celebrate your freedom, because I can promise you that the side of freedom, the grass is real green over here. It is so much greener than that side, where my worst day on the side of freedom is still far better than my best day with that narcissist. And you will be here sipping champagne with me, okay? I promise you. Do you love my hair blowing in the wind? July 4th, yes! Okay guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Let's stay narc free.